Chapter 19. Consciousness and the Father's House. A message from Jesus, identifying himself as the living Christ who lives in you. Section 1. Be aware. Beloved one, we are getting closer and closer to the essence of everything. What joy it is to walk the path of wisdom together. What joy it is to live in the uncreated truth. I thank you for listening to my voice and following it. I thank you for answering my call. Today I come to remind you of the importance of being aware of everything you are, always. This essential matter of being aware of your true self is what will make fear disappear forever from your sight, reduced to the memory of an unpleasant nightmare. Little by little, the memory of fear will dissolve into nothingness. Time in its benevolence will make fear vanish and be impossible to remember. It will be abolished into eternal oblivion, because unconsciousness is not created by God. I make this clarification so that you do not confuse the decision to forget God, which unconsciousness sought to cause, with the eternal oblivion of fear, which will happen in due time. The first was an unsuccessful attempt, since no one can really disconnect from God and continue to exist. However, you can forget forever the nightmare of fear caused by unconsciousness, because that state was not created by God and therefore is revocable. Disconnecting from what you are can only arouse the panic that you experience on so many occasions, a response to nothingness, to the conscious awareness of nothingness, a disconnection from being. Experiencing nothing is disturbing, for nothingness would literally be the death of the soul, if that were possible. Given your experiences, you fear the world because you think the world is where you lost your being. Thus you search for it, and never having found it in the world makes you distrust the world. But, my brothers and sisters, the world cannot give you the being that you are, or that you thought you had lost. To search and not to find was the way of the ego. To seek your being exactly in the only place where you would not find it was a sinister trick that you yourself created. Remember that the decision about where to look for your being is always yours. You cannot find your truth, your being, anywhere other than in yourself. And since I am the truth, you can only find me. That is what was meant when you were told to look for yourself in me. Only in the truth can you find your being, for the simple reason that you are the truth, the way and the life. There is no other path than your being. There is no other life than the life of your being. There is no other truth than the truth that you are. Being what you are seems devoid of meaning, since it is impossible not to be what you are. However, this must be understood well. Being always what you are means not to disconnect from anything that happens within yourself. Feeling, perceiving, and experiencing everything that is happening inside you now and always is what it means to reunite your consciousness with what you are, or rather, to gather your being in consciousness. This understanding of consciousness is essential for your happiness. Consciousness is what makes something. Everything is consciousness. Nothing exists outside of consciousness. God Himself is pure consciousness, infinitely present. You yourself are consciousness and nothing else. Section 2. Love is consciousness. Fear is unconsciousness. Therefore, returning to the Father's house, which is the expression that refers to returning everything you are to your consciousness, is something that anyone can do in a very simple way. You return to the Father's house, that is, to the loving consciousness that you are. Whenever anything that arises from your being is embraced in it, imagine consciousness as a great palace built of the purest crystal, where the heralds of being enter. These heralds are all that the being experiences or creates within: feelings, beliefs, thoughts, feelings, emotions, everything. The union of all these acts of being within consciousness is what the unity is in totality. Therefore it is the house of the Father, the kingdom of heaven. Certainly that kingdom has been spoken of correctly as a state of being. That is what it is. The kingdom of heaven is not a place, or properly speaking, a state of consciousness, because there are no states of consciousness. There is only consciousness. Judgment is a turning away from consciousness out of fear. Thus you are urged again and again not to judge. Your true self cannot deny its totality, but you can deny part of it. And in doing so you deny your integrity. And since your true self cannot stop being whole, once you deny an aspect of it, you perceive a being that is not complete. You feel that incompletedness. This feeling of lack of fullness is an unequivocal symptom that you have denied an aspect of your being. In other words, fear comes to dwell in you even when you deny a single feeling, thought, or perception. Beloved, these last messages should cheer you. Today you can leave behind all fear when you realize that all fear is a matter of identity. Fear is unconsciousness. Once you begin to accept that fear is unconsciousness of your true self, you will inevitably take the next step, which is to become aware that unconsciousness is simply the denial of something that you feel or have felt in your heart, or what you think or have thought in your mind. This knowledge is powerful because it grants the understanding that you need not heal the hurts of the past, nor project or plan a golden future of revenge for a baleful past. None of that will achieve long-awaited security. None of that will achieve the goal of living in certainty. We no longer need to search for anything or anyone to address our fear. Living without fear is only possible when you live in certainty. There is no other option. Fear, which is always unconsciousness of being, makes an appearance when there are doubts. This dynamic is simple, sequential, and logical. Since all doubt is a doubt about oneself, the unconsciousness of being is its cause. Doubt eliminates certainty and erases peace of mind. With peace gone, conflict arises, and with it, fear. Given the energetic state of fear, the soul begins to grapple with it, just as the body does with a toxin. It is a natural reaction. Fear is so foreign and so unnatural that the soul always seeks to eliminate it. Fear is soul poison. Can you begin to realize that it is entirely possible to walk in this world without the slightest hint of fear? This is possible and necessary. This can be achieved today when you sincerely acknowledge that everything you feel in your heart and everything you think in your mind can and should be embraced by a loving consciousness. By loving everything that arises within you, you eliminate fear of yourself. By eliminating fear of yourself, you eliminate fear of your experience. By removing it from your innermost self, nothing and no one can make it arise again. Never was there anyone or anything that caused your fear. Fear is manufactured by the human heart, without touching the center of your being. Fear is something foreign, and I use this word deliberately. Fear does not belong to you. It is completely foreign to you. It is so external to you that even your being is not touched by it. Fear does not accomplish anything. It never made a dent in your soul. Thus, when you eliminate the fear of your experience and lovingly accept all that you are now and always, then you return to experiencing the purity of your virginal heart. That untouched state of being cannot be altered. This is another reason for joy, since much of your confusion and fear comes from the misunderstanding of the effects of fear. Fear never came from anything external because the universe as a whole is neutral. It does not and cannot ever do anything to you. The universe is ours. The world is ours, and our brothers and sisters too. Remember that the neutrality of everything is the truth of creation. God could never have created a universe that could harm his sons and daughters at all. And yet, does the rising of the sun affect you? It is evident that often you experience a mood change as the sun rises or the rain falls. Is not it also true that a telephone call may be enough to cheer you or to ruin your day? My brothers and sisters, these are matters of emotion and nothing more. Here we call that we must always live in that place, and that is not a place, but it's beyond your emotional body, where we arrive by acknowledging and feeling the emotions and never denying them. Denial is unconsciousness. Therefore, we do not want to deny anything. We accept everything that arises, everything. We do not judge anything, and we refrain from analyzing what we experience. Now we travel a new path, the path of the pure experiencing of being. We have fun experimenting, feeling the totality of what we are. We enjoy the fullness of being that we are being now. We are no longer interested in being we once were, nor in being something different in the future. Those beings are accepted and worthy of our mercy. None of them exist in our minds anymore, for we know the truth. We know for sure that we are all that we are being, and that we are, and what we are is nothing other than the living Christ. Thus we begin to enjoy the sanctity of our being. We give ourselves the luxury and the freedom to feel and think whatever we feel or think. We allow whatever comes and release whatever goes. We recognize that we are the consciousness that makes all that we are what it is and what it experiences. To be the being that experiences and to bring that experience to consciousness without the slightest fear of anything that we may feel or think is what will allow us to go wherever we go and to do whatever we do without fear. Sons and daughters of the truth, you are never scared any more of anyone or anything. You had been afraid of the feelings of your heart and the thoughts of your mind. You did not know where they came from or where they were taking you. You feared them because you thought that they capriciously imposed upon you. You who lived at their mercy. Now you know that that is simply not true. Now you accept what you feel and know that it is not necessary to evaluate where those feelings come from, what they mean, or where they may be trying to take you. They simply come to be felt. This is why they are called feelings. The same goes for thoughts. We no longer get entangled in the endless thoughts of the thinking mind, which seeks to give meaning to everything, even to every thought. We have passed that stage. Now we calmly accept that the mind thinks. That is its nature. The mind was created to think, and we let it think what it thinks, just as we allow the heart to express the feelings it expresses. We take distance from these expressions. We observe them, feeling and noticing, experimenting, but we are no longer confused about what we are. We are not those emotions and feelings, nor the thoughts. We are the being that God created in His likeness. We are the living Christ that lives in us. In this way, we live from the consciousness of Christ rather than from unconsciousness. Rather than trying to eliminate fear, focus instead on leaving anything out of your consciousness. As you do this, fear will disappear without the slightest effort, and love will be the only thing you experience. Let the heralds of your being enter without restriction into the palace where the love of God resides. When you have opened the floodgates of your consciousness, allowing everything you experience, whatever it may be, to be embraced, then you will live as what you are, the holy abode of Christ.